welcome to another Tears League episode. This is episode 6, and wow, that we're already in week 4. Like, time moving fast. Like, time moving fast. You don't think so, Ashley? Yeah? Yeah. So, let we get right into it. Let we start off with Big 12 week 3 results.
In the East, we had Mountain versus Kimoy. Mountain won that one. Vachel versus Chris. Chris won that one. Rain versus Shamoy. Rain won that one. And in the West, we had Breeze versus Jew. Jew won that one. Richie versus Plucky. Richie won that one. And Iva versus Gino, with Gino winning. Now going straight into Big 12 Week 4 Power Rankings. We have Gino at 1, Mountain at 2, Rain at 3, Drew at 4, Kimor at 5, Iva at 6, Richie at 7, Chris at 8, Plucky is 9, Shamoy is 10, Vachel is 11, and Kadima is 12. Here's Richie's Big 12 parlay for Week 4. Starting with the East matchups, we have Mountain versus Vachel, Rain versus Chris, Shamoy versus Kimoy. In the West, we have Plucky versus Gino, Jew versus Richie, Kadim versus Iva. The blue is who he has to win, and in the corner is his last week results. This boy went for 6 for 6.
Hey then, that's crazy. And then the week before, he went 5 for 6. So Richie is on fire. And right now, he is 13 and 18 and his parlay is like, okay, Richie, 6 for 6? Perfect. A plus. I ain't gonna lie to you, so we're gonna just run through everything. But before we move on to territory, we're gonna give via the GM of the week for Big 12. And here is your GM of the week for Big 12, Mr. Mariano Jacobs. I ain't gonna lie to you, Rain had an amazing week. When I tell you pickups matter, Rain pickups was clutch. All the pickups was super clutch this whole week. And if you see all the way on the bottom right, those were his top pickups for the week. And if you know, you know, them dudes came in clutch and them short days. But yeah, Rain, GM of the week. Good job.
Now moving on to Tier 3 Week 3 results. In the East, we have Jimbo versus Ish. Jimbo won that one. The unknown player against Ernie. Ernie won that one. Risha versus Draco. Risha won that one. And moving on to the West, we have Bread versus Turbo. Turbo won. Jed versus Chabo. Jed won. And Manny versus Ricky, with Ricky winning.
But let's move on to Tier 3 Week 4 Power Rankings.
Jimbo is 1. Ricky is 2. Risha is 3. Jed is 4. Ernie is 5. Manny is 6. Turbo is 7. Draco is 8. Ish is 9. Bread is 10. Manny is 11. And the unknown player is 12. With that being said, let's move on to Gino's Tier 3 parlay for Week 4. In the East, we have the unknown versus Risha, Ernie versus Jimbo, Ish versus Draco. And in the West, we have Chabo versus Ricky, Manny versus Turbo, and Bread versus Jed. Red is who he has to win. Gino. Last week results, 3 for 6. 3 for 6.
Gino, me understand what's going on with Gino. He looking too good at all, right? We got fire.
We gotta stop saying he after Richie.
He got stop betting on Bread. He keep picking Bread. Bread ain't giving him no type of love. And Bread telling he stop picking him, he's still picking Bread.
He gotta listen.
He jinxing the man.
He losing all the money too.
But before we move on, this is Tier 3 GM of the week, Mr. Jed. He scored the most points and Joker madness. Like, it was crazy. 551 points. That's insane, bro. It's insane. Trust me, I know. I have him too. But yeah, Jed, GM of the week. Good job. And let me move on to Tier 2, Week 3 results. Take it away, Ashley.
In the East, we have Bash versus Ian, Bash 1. Javon versus Demoy, Demoy 1. Jordan versus Rashawn, Jordan 1-1. And in the West, we have Grove versus Russ, Grove 1. MJ versus Rashid, MJ 1. JP versus Brandon, with Brandon winning that one.
And then now we're going to move on to Tier 2, Week 4 Power Rankings.
1 is Brandon, 2 is Bash, 3 is Ian, 4 is Jordan, 5 is MJ, 6 is Grove, 7 is Ross, Rashawn is 8, Demoy is 9, Javon is 10, 11 is JP, and 12 is Rashid. Moving on to Chris Tier 2 parlay for week 4. In the East, we have Bash versus Jordan, Javon versus Rashawn, Ian versus Demoy. In the West, we have Grove versus Rashid, MJ versus JP, and Brandon versus Ross. Chris went 5 for 6 last
Boy,
week.
Gino looking horrible, my son.
Yeah.
This ain't a good look at top. 5 for 6. You see, when I put pressure on them, see, you know what Gino is that person in school that he just don't care. He not gonna listen. He gonna still skip this. Don't give a fuck. He not gonna study. He gonna skip school. He gonna skip class, whatever. But Chris and Richie,
He went and study.
Them man is scholars.
Yeah. Chris went
scholars.
and study with son. He get his act together.
Yeah.
I'm proud of him.
But that's really it for Tier 2. I don't really get much to say, but Brandon and Bash, good job. It's the only undefeated people right now. Good job.
Okay, we're gonna move on to Tier 1. We have the week 3 results. In the East, we have Slick versus Lock 1-1. Dylan versus Rhino, Dylan 1. Joseph versus Kyle, Joseph 1. And in the West, we have Pure versus Gillo, Pure 1. Sharif versus Chad, Chad won that game. Marcel versus Kerry, with Marcel winning that game.
And then let we knock it out real quick. This is your Tier 1 Week 4 Power Rankings.
Lock is 1, Pure is 2, Sharif is 3, Joseph is 4, Marcel is 5, Chad is 6, Slick is 7, Kyle is 8, Gillo is 9, Kerry is 10, Rhino is 11, and Dylan is 12.
And again, like I said, I'm sorry. I ain't really say much for this episode, but yeah, it's a real busy week. But that's really it for this week. Hopefully Gino get his act together and these parlays. I want to see across the board. I want to see 5 and 6 across the board and 6 for 6. G hot. But like I said, that's really it for right now.